It's great to be here. So my Norwegian's not very good, so I'm going to speak English. But it's really exciting to be here. It's exciting to be around the world now as a brand. So I'll talk a little bit about how we got started, and it's really fun being in a store like this because that's where we come from, is a store just like this in Utah, in the mountains of Utah. So my partner and I started working at the store when we were very young. His father owned the store, and so we would sell running shoes, right? When we were, I started when I was 16 years old, and it was really interesting. The owner of the store blew out his knee playing American football. It's a terrible sport, American football. You don't need to play it over here. Don't ever get it. It's bad. Blew out his knee playing it, okay? And it was bone on bone, and so he couldn't. The doctors told him he would never run again because of the pain he would get while running. And he thought, well, there's got to be a way I can run. So this was back in the early 1980s. So he started running, and he found that he could still run with a particular technique, right? Nowadays we talk about biomechanics and running technique, and it's a lot of talk about that. Back in the 80s, there was nothing like this. And so Golden, who's my partner, and myself, when we were kids, the store owner would teach us all about his way of running, right? And so we were ingrained in running technique and biomechanics from a very early age, running track and running cross country. And when we started selling shoes, we would teach everybody about biomechanics and how to properly run and how to, avoid knee problems through running better. Fast forward 7 or 8 years, and we were both at university. We started doing research. Both of us we're finishing our degrees in exercise science. And we started looking at how shoes affect your mechanics and your running technique. So we're out there teaching people how to run properly, but we always felt that they were fighting against the shoes, that traditional running shoes encouraged a running technique that just wasn't as ideal. And so Golden came up with this idea. He had a toaster oven. He likes toast, okay? So he would take a traditional running shoe. I won't pick on any other brand here, but he took a shoe and put it in a toaster oven and heated it up. So all these shoes, I'll use my shoe, heated up this material called EVA. Every brand uses it, okay? Ethyl vinyl acetate, EVA, okay? And he heated it up in the toaster oven and got a butter knife and said, well, every shoe, the heel is twice as high as the forefoot. Let's just take out that heel, okay? So he got a knife, cut it, okay, and took it out. And he needed to call it something. So since he took out the drop of the shoe, he called it zero drop. And he called me up and said, hey Brian, I did this thing to my shoe, you should try it too. And so I said, oh, okay, I'll try it. So I started doing it too. And next thing we know, as we're looking at the way our running technique was, it was better. We were landing more underneath our body, right? Our posture was better. The knee problems were better. On the trails, okay, our ankles weren't rolling quite as much. And so at our store here, okay, a store very, very similar to this, we would start recommending these modifications to people occasionally. Usually if they had a knee problem or if they had balance issues or if they were rolling their ankles, we would say, for an extra $20, we'll cut up your brand new running shoe, okay, and we will do it. We'd only do it kind of secret, right? We got to the point where we weren't using a toaster oven anymore. We were using a bandsaw. So we would bandsaw these shoes, right? And then sand them down with a belt sander and then glue them back together, okay? And word got out about this at our shop. And people started coming in all day, every day saying, I want one of your zero drop shoes. And we would say, well, there's no such thing as a zero drop shoe, so sorry. And they'd be like, we know that you can do it. And so we go, okay. So we started, and this kind of word got out. And that first year, we did 1,000 modifications to shoes. And after a couple hundred pair, we started sending out surveys with these people. And we would get these surveys back. And at this point, we started telling all the other brands. We said, hey, we've been cutting up your shoes and we make them better. And they said, you guys are idiots. And that didn't go over very well because we knew that our concept was legitimate. We knew that it aligned you naturally. We knew that it helped with your running technique and it reduced the pressure off of your knees and so forth. And so after about a year of talking to, literally giving our idea free to these other brands and them laughing at us, we decided to start our own shoe company. So this was just over 6 years ago, okay? So 6 years ago, we got together and we said, we're gonna start a shoe company. We were 27 years old and we had no money. And we started doing some research and one thing led to another. It took us 2 years to get to market. And one of the things that we found is not only did we want to change the zero drop of the shoes, we wanted to allow people to just run better, right? Run more free. And so one thing you're going to find in all of our shoes is what we call a foot-shaped toe box. Let those toes splay. This is great for balance. This is great for shock attenuation. It's great for people with bunions. It's great for people with neuromas, a lot of forefoot problems. And so that's the next thing we changed. And we started just looking at shoes outside the box. The couple fun things about this is not only did we sell running shoes for 15 years each, but we were both athletes. We both love to run. Anybody know what the world's fastest time is for a 12-year-old? For a marathon, thank you. For a marathon. Anybody want to guess? Anybody? What's the world record for a 12-year-old in the marathon?
45.
That's pretty close. 2:44. And it still stands to this day, and it's Golden. Golden ran 2:44 at age 12. Myself, I'm not quite that fast, but I just ran UTMB 3 days ago. 172 kilometers. And I'm the president of the company. So our shoe company is built by runners for runners. And we look outside the box. We do things differently. And we're okay with doing things differently. We like being different. So a couple fun things that we do. We got to grab a Superior. Someone throw me a Superior over here. We do all sorts of fun and different things. So, there we go. Thank you. Perfect. So a couple fun things that we do in our shoes is we have Velcro on the back of our trail shoes for gaiters that we can put on. We do removable rock plates, so you can actually take out the rock plate in this shoe. Okay, we do, rather than using Gore-Tex on a waterproof shoe, we found a new material called Polartec. So I'm wearing this one right now. It's a Polartec rather than Gore-Tex. We use Stabilipod systems rather than medial posting in terms of pronation. We do things outside the box. We continue to do things outside the box. So I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but because we always have believed in running injuries, our goal is to reduce running injuries, and our goal has always been to improve technique and biomechanics. We're launching, and again, this is a prototype, okay? We're launching the world's first smart shoe early next year, where this shoe has a full-length flex sensor, and we're gonna get on the treadmill here and test it out in a minute, where you can actually see if you're heel striking or if you're forefoot striking, okay? You can see if your left foot is landing harder than your right foot. Okay, you can see your cadence live while you're running. So as a footwear company, we think outside the box. One of so if you ever want to tweet at us, you can do #0limits. Because we as a brand believe that there are no limits to what footwear can do. There's no limits on what people can do, both from 3 guys in a basement starting a shoe company to running 300-kilometer races, right? That there's not limits, right? And that we as humans can break out of these boxes that we're kept in.
And I did my first ultra in 2003, and then I had a break. And then I remember looking at tons of shoes, and I found a brand that had less drop. It hadn't 0, but it had less. And I fell in love with those, but I ripped them apart. And I don't have to tell them the brand, but I've always damaged shoes on the on my front because I have pretty wide feet. And then the last I did a long race in Réunion in last fall, and my toes were beaten up, and then I was looking for some different other shoes, and I found Altra, and I really like the brand, the ideas, and the shoes, of course, and because for me, I have not perfect stride, not perfect technique at all. I have my cadence is too low, and my posture isn't good, and but I still don't have too many injuries. I shouldn't say injuries because I was feeling something during the weekend that wasn't good, but I haven't had any major injuries, and I'm still, and I relate that to that I'm still trying to improve my technique, and I'm working on that every single run, and in doing so and in improving, Altra has been very good for me. So that's the main reason why I run with Altra. So yeah.
Yeah, I think it's fun for us because we have we get to deal with athletes all around the world, and it's interesting how some of them come to Altra. Some of them it's because they love the zero drop. Others it's the toe box, right? Others it's the whole combination, the outside the box thinking. I think when Altra, when we look at shoes, we really look at, okay, we don't say, oh well, how can we sell more shoes? We don't even, that doesn't even cross our brain. We always think to ourselves, what is nobody else doing? Or when I'm out there running at 124 kilometers into my run in the middle of the night, what do I wish I had? And for those of you who've had to run all day and then you continue and have to run all night, your brain kind of does wacky things, right? I mean, a few of you who, right? And so your brain starts thinking, and these ideas just kind of pop into your head. It's just really interesting, kind of like the gator trap. Another fun thing that we did on the Lone Peak, so this is kind of, this is my favorite trail shoe that I really built for me, is we looked at, when you hit a rock, okay, you hit a rock, it's going to jab your foot, right? So you put a rock plate in the shoe. Well, if you put the rock plate in the shoe, it hits, it's going to pivot you. Hit and pivot, okay? So you're going to roll your ankle. So what we did on this shoe is we use a 2-layer midsole, okay? And we put the rock plate between those layers. So now when I hit a rock in this shoe, it actually deflects into the shoe before it hits that rock plate. You combine that sandwiched rock plate with our zero drop, okay, very stable, and our foot-shaped toe box, very stable, and you have what we believe to be an incredibly stable shoe that's still light and nimble, but also protective. And so these are the type of things that we think about when we run and as we come up with shoes. This shoe right here, and if you haven't felt this shoe, you should come up and hold this shoe because it's pretty amazing. What we did on this shoe is, there's always, people put flex grooves in the shoe, right? Is on this shoe, we actually have flex grooves not only on the outside, okay, but on the inside of the shoe. We call it inner flex. So there's actually flex grooves on both sides, okay? So if you look at this shoe and you feel it, that's how it's so light and flexible. It's the lightest, most cushioned shoe on the market, meaning the ratio from cushion to weight is the lightest on the market. Okay, so these are the type of things that we end up utilizing with our shoe company, and it's really fun because we've now been on the market for just over 4 years. So 4 years ago, we launched one shoe in one color, and we were 3 guys in a basement. Right now we're selling in 27 different countries around the world. We have people talking about our product and using our product in France or in Japan or in New Zealand and in America and in Chile and in Brazil, and it's really exciting. And so that's just a little bit about Altra. We're a little wacky, we're a little different, and we love it. We love being different, we love thinking outside the box, and we really just love to run. So Any volunteer? Who's any? Let's see. I'm not very good at European sizing. What European size are you? What's your size?
I'm the sample size.
Sample size 10 and a half.
Yeah.
So any US 10 and a half size out there that wants to try a shoe?
That's the IQ is 43.
43? Anybody is 43 that wants to try a never before tried shoe? You 43? Okay, let's do it. Okay, here we go. The fun thing about Altra, and before we get you on the treadmill, is we not just want to provide the data, we want to provide solutions. Okay, so we're not just going to say, oh, you're a hill striker. What we're going to try to do is give you suggestions on how to be better. Okay, and we're going to look at his speed and distance. We're going to then look at his cadence. Okay, so cadence is how fast, how many steps per minute you're taking. Okay, so you can see there's about a 10-second delay. So we're going to talk about the cadence. Okay, so now you got up there and now you're going to drop back down because you're standing still. We're going to talk about your foot strike. Right now you're standing. Okay, oh, you were in the middle, now you're kind of leaning back on your heels a little bit. Okay, we're going to talk a little bit about what the foot strike, how heavy you're landing. Okay, and if you're landing heavier on one foot than the other foot. And then we're going to talk about contact time, how long you're on the ground. And so this is the type of thing that we're going to be able to provide now in a shoe while you're running on a watch or an iPhone or a tablet or anything like that. So it's really cool. We're not up to the point, and again, keep in mind that this is still a prototype, okay? And so we're not able to stream it up on screens or anything like yet, but we will get there in the future. So let's get on a treadmill here, and oh, look at that, we got our running, and that is me, by the way, look at that. Can you tell? Both of those are me, so I'm demonstrating bad technique and better technique. So which treadmill is better? I'm gonna let you run on the treadmill. I don't know how to work this particular treadmill, so I'm gonna let you run it. Nice, easy pace, just kind of something you could hold for,
24 hours.
24 hours. For about 2 minutes, so just throttle this thing, no.
Hvordan skulle du holde?
Probably good. Yep. So it's about a 10-second delay. You can see that. He's landing a little bit better on his right foot than his left foot. Okay. Yep, landing a little heavier on his left foot than his right foot. Okay, you can see that. And contact time, let's see if we can get this one up and running here. About 72. So this is the type of technology that we're able to utilize here. Okay, try to lean a little bit more forward from the ankles. Okay, there you go, and go just a little bit lighter and quicker. There we go, look at that. That cadence all of a sudden just picked up. So isn't that kind of fun that we can get those cadence just a little bit faster by giving a few suggestions and live feedback while he's running. So this is just kind of some of the fun things that we're doing as a brand, trying to help people run better. Thank you, by the way. Round of applause for our volunteer up on the treadmill. That's right. So
I'm stealing those, by the way.
yeah, so that's not out yet. So that's a prototype. So real quick, Altra. Altra means alternative. Okay, so when we talk about being different, that's what comes in the name. When we talk about running and running technique right here, that setup right there is something we call our Learn to Run initiative. So if you take out the A's, you get LTR, Learn to Run. And we feel that, and I like the fact that you guys do the videotaping and so forth, because so many people, I think, that we saw would sell people running shoes and say, okay, good luck, go run. But when you practice soccer, you don't just go and play 11-on-11 soccer. When you go play basketball, you don't just play 5-on-5 basketball. You actually are practicing your 3-point shots. Right? You're practicing your free throws. Does LeBron James ever stop practicing free throws? You guys know who LeBron James is, right? Okay. He's saying no. Uh-oh. You have to. They practice specific things, and we feel like with running, like Sondre was saying, you know, he's not perfect, but he works at it, and it's the same for me. As I don't have perfect biomechanics, but it's something that I am working on, and we should try to focus it as we run, rather than just going out and running, actually learning how to run and being students of the sport that we love. And by doing that, we can run better, we can run less injury prone, right? We can run hopefully injury free. We can run faster. Whatever our goal is, we can accomplish that. And that's one of our things with ultras. We want you to run better. We want you to run more educated. We want you to run more naturally aligned, right? We want you to run with less injury. And if you want, we think our shoes can help you run faster too, if that's what you want. And so that's a little bit more about Ultra, where we come from, and our name and so forth. But so, Espen, anything else you want me to cover?
What is your position on cushioning, like the amount of cushioning?
Yeah,
and
that's
how do you define differences?
It's a great question. For us, we always were just cutting off the heels of shoes. So for us, it's never been about minimalism or cushion or so forth. For us, it's always been about personal preference there. We feel like once you're aligned with the zero drop and a foot-shaped toe box, you can choose your level of cushion, right? That's kind of a personal thing. It's also up to the distance, right? The further on the rockier, you might want a little bit more protection. Typically, I'm going to recommend someone to go with the cushion amount that they're most comfortable with, but also the cushioning that they feel like they can get away with the least. I would definitely recommend, if in doubt, go to a little bit less cushion. But ultimately, it's a personal preference, right, in terms of cushion. So when you look at our shoe wall, our trail shoes, we've got a lightweight cushion shoe, we've got a moderate cushion shoe, and we have a max cushion shoe. So you can choose your level of cushion based off of your distance, based off of your personal preference, and so forth. So our kind of philosophy on cushions, just, you know, personal preference. I like a little bit less cushion. I feel like I like to kind of feel the terrain. So the Superior is my favorite. And again, I do mostly trail running, so the Superior is our light and fast trail shoe, and that's my favorite. For my rockier and longer distance racing, I use the Lone Peak, which I really love for my 170 kilometer races. But I do probably 70% of my training in the Superior, and then my really rocky and longer runs in the Lone Peak, just kind of terrain based. But I do test stuff. So at UTMB, I switched out at about 100 and something kilometers into the race, and I tested the Olympus 2 that's coming out next year. So I prototype my own shoes. Okay, so if you're wondering who tests the shoes and make sure they're okay, it's me. So and there's several of us, but a couple fun things on the Olympus. We initially kind of launched that shoe as a do everything shoe, and the new Olympus coming out next year is a really true trail shoe, not just a on-road, off-road, do-everything shoe. So has a Vibram Mega Grip, okay, outsole, and the traction, I think, is definitely deep, if not deeper than the Superior. So it basically put a Superior outsole on the Olympus with a Vibram Mega Grip, and it's I think 60 grams lighter. I always do ounces, I'm sorry. About 60 grams lighter, 2 ounces.
It was 330.
Anyway, it's substantially lighter with more traction and a Vibram outsole, so it's great. So the shoe, the IQ shoe, which is the smart shoe we're launching, it'll work with any smart device with a downloadable app, so iPad or an iPhone. It'll work with any watch that runs Android Wear, and it will work on any iFit watch. So iFit's actually has several fitness trackers now, and they're expanding into GPS watches and so forth. So even a lot of treadmills use iFit, so you can actually see it on your screen in certain treadmills. So anything with iFit, it will talk to the shoe. So.